Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain on a strategy that could completely change your financial future. We're talking about 3 specific assets: Hedera XBAR, Stellar XLM, and Ripple XRP. I'm going to show you a simple 3-step plan to position yourself as a top-tier holder in all 3 of these ecosystems, all with a single manageable investment. We're talking about a move that could put you in the top 10% of holders, a position you've probably never even dreamed of. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what numbers? And why those 3 projects? The reason has nothing to do with price and everything to do with a secret a lot of people don't even know exists. I'm going to show you why a specific targeted allocation of 5,000 HBAR, 5,000 XLM, and just 2,500 XRP is the golden ticket. But here's the catch. Most of you will do this one thing that will destroy your chances, and you don't even know you're doing it. Let's start with the biggest rookie mistake in crypto: overcomplicating things. You've got a wallet with 25 different tokens and you spend all day on Twitter chasing the next pump. That's a great way to lose money. The people who built real, lasting wealth in this market didn't do that. They focused, they picked a few winners, accumulated them consistently, and had the patience to ride through the noise. And that's exactly what this strategy is all about. We're keeping it grounded: 5,000 HBR, 5,000 XLM, and 2,500 XRP. But why those numbers? Let's start with XRP because it's the easiest to understand. The XRP rich list shows that having around 2,500 XRP puts you in the top 10% of all holders. Think about that. You're in a top tier position, not by being a whale, but by being smart. Now, at today's prices, 2,500 XRP costs a few $1,000s. For a lot of people, that's not an outrageous entry point. We're not talking millions. We're talking about an amount that, if you believe in XRP's future in global payments, could make all the difference. Now, before we get deeper into the strategy, let's talk about one of the most powerful plays in this entire space. While XRP and XLM are leading the charge in payments, there's a project quietly building the future of enterprise-level adoption. And it's a massive story you can't afford to miss. That's why I need you to watch this video next. It's called Huge Hedera HBAR News. You'll see why having a bag of HBAR is not just a bet on crypto, but a bet on the future of business. Just click the link in the top right corner when you're done with this video. Okay, back to the numbers. Why 5,000 for HBAR and XLM? Simple, it's because of relative supply. XRP's total supply is around 100 billion, while HBAR and XLM are both at 50 billion. So to hold a network equivalent stake, you need roughly double the number of XRP tokens to be in a comparable percentile of holders. This isn't just about owning a bunch of coins, it's about building parallel positions, ensuring your position to win no matter which of these 3 takes off first. Hey, before we go any further, if you're like me and you're tired of seeing your money stuck, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're on a mission to put you on the inside track. Now, the real power of this strategy is that you're not betting on one horse. You're betting on 3 complementary plays. HBAR is for enterprise, insanely fast, with low fees, governed by corporations like Google and IBM. XLM is for peer-to-peer payments and banking the unbanked. And SRP is for institutional adoption and cross-border settlements. These aren't meme coins. They're literally building the digital plumbing for the global economy. And here's a rookie mistake a lot of people make: ignoring supply. They look at a price and say, oh, XRP is $3.00 and HBAR is 25 cents, so XRP must be more valuable. That's not how it works. Price alone means nothing without supply. A $1.00 HBAR would already be a $50 billion 0 cents market cap. A $10 0 cents HBAR, that's $500 billion. The ceiling for each of these tokens is massive, and by targeting 5,000 HBAR and 5,000 XLM, you're locking in a meaningful position. Now, here's where things get really interesting. This strategy isn't just about bragging rights. Being in the top 10% of holders means when mass adoption comes, you're not scrambling to buy in at higher levels. You've already secured your slice of the network. You've positioned yourself for a future you can taste. Speaking of a future you can taste, if you're getting value from this, do me a favor and tap that like button. It's the best way to tell me you want more of this deep dive content. Now let's talk about money, because at the end of the day, that's why we're all here, right? We want to know what these numbers actually mean in dollars. At today's prices, this whole portfolio costs around $10,750, 0 cents. For some, that's a lot. For others, it's manageable. But here's the beauty. You don't have to buy it all at once. You can dollar cost average. This isn't about timing the market perfectly. It's about building a position before the explosion happens. Back in 2017, people who bought 10,000 XRP for pennies became millionaires. The same with XLM, the same with HBAR in its early days. The targets of 5,000 and 2,500 are psychologically digestible. They're not so large that they feel impossible, but they're not so small that they're meaningless. And when the next euphoric cycle hits, you'll be glad you positioned yourself with these benchmarks. But here's the dark side, the unspoken warning in this title. We've talked about what to buy, but nobody talks about the biggest risk. And it's not the market, it's not a crash, it's not the SEC, it's a threat far more dangerous than all of those things combined. It's your own mind and your lack of patience. If you panic sell, you will lose everything. In the next segment, I'm gonna show you exactly why that happens and what you can do to avoid it. Let's get into what everyone secretly cares about most, the money. Because no matter how much we like the technology, the reality is we're here for financial opportunity. So what kind of profit multipliers are we realistically looking at? The crazy thing about crypto is that 100x returns aren't a fantasy, they've actually happened. So when we talk about a 2x, a 5x, or even a 100x, we're not just throwing out lottery numbers. We're talking about actual scenarios that have played out before. Let's start small, the conservative 2x. If your portfolio just doubles, your $10,750, 0 cents becomes over $21,500, 0 cents. That's a neat $10,750, 0 cents profit. For some people, that's a year's salary. In crypto, a 2x is often considered a failure. People joke that only doubling your money is boring, but think about it. Where else in the world can you double your capital in a matter of months or a few years? Not stocks, not bonds, not real estate. A 2x in crypto is just the entry-level win. Now let's push to a reasonable 5x. That's a portfolio value of over $53,000, 0 cents. That's a down payment on a house. That's debt wiped out, student loans cleared, a fresh financial start. The crazy thing, a 5x in crypto is not even considered aggressive. Assets like HBAR and XLM have done 10x and 20x moves in single cycles before. A 5x is literally the baseline expectation for these infrastructure tokens when the cycle heats up. Hey, a quick check-in. If you're still watching, it means this is hitting home. Do me a solid and tap that like button if you're getting value. Now, here's where things get spicy. The life-changing 10x. This is where your portfolio hits over $107,000, 0 cents. That's 6 figures from a 5-figure investment. And here's the key. 6 figures is the threshold where money starts buying freedom. And at this point, we're not talking about just covering bills. We're talking about travel, investments in other businesses, and the ability to take risks. If anyone is going to 10x reliably, it's these infrastructure plays. Now for the dream, the 50x. People roll their eyes when you say it, but history shows it's possible. We're talking about a portfolio value of over $537,000, 0 cents. That's $500,000 from a $10,000, 0 cents starting point. That's generational wealth territory. That's the kind of money that changes not just your lifestyle, but your family's trajectory. And because you're spread across all three, you don't need all of them to do it. You just need one. Let's talk about the moonshot, the 100x. People think it's a fantasy, but remember, XRP itself pulled off a 10,000x in its early days, and HBAR, though younger, has already done massive multiples off its lows. We're talking about a portfolio value of over $1 million, 0 cents. That's 7 figures from $10,000, 0 cents. This has happened before multiple times. The question isn't, is it possible, but is it possible again? The answer is, with the right projects in the right cycle, absolutely. Now, let's get into the psychology of why these multipliers actually happen. Because to an outsider, a 10x, 50x, or 100x sounds insane. But crypto operates on a different set of rules. First, there's the low base effect. Many of these assets are still small in market cap terms. It's easier to 100x from $1 billion than from $1 trillion. HBAR and XLM are still tiny compared to the markets they're tackling. Second, narrative shifts. Every cycle has a narrative. This cycle is shaping up to be about enterprise adoption in tokenized assets. Guess what? XRP, XLM, and HBAR are perfectly aligned with that narrative. The third reason is liquidity waves. When institutional money comes in, it doesn't trickle, it floods. Just look at the Bitcoin ETFs, billions in weeks. The same thing will happen when funds and banks start scooping up utility tokens for real-world use cases. And finally, retail FOMO. Nothing drives prices like FOMO. When people see XRP moving, they pile in. When XLM mirrors it, they chase it. When HBAR starts hitting headlines, the crowd follows. This compounding effect drives exponential moves. But here's the most important part, the real warning. All these scenarios, they don't play out overnight. They take time, they take patience, and they take conviction. Think about Bitcoin. How many people sold their coins at $100, 0 cents, thinking they'd made it? How many dumped at $1,000, 0 cents, thinking they'd timed the top? The ones who held through all the noise, all the crashes, all the FUD, they're the ones sitting on generational wealth today. It will be the same with HBAR, XLM, and XRP. If you panic sell at a 2x, you'll miss the 10x. If you take profits at a 5x, you'll never see the 50x. The real wealth in crypto doesn't go to the traders flipping for pennies. It goes to the holders who lock in their positions and let time do the heavy lifting. Now, if you're not subscribed yet, this is your wake-up call. We're on a mission to help you build wealth, but you have to be on the team. Now, I want to talk about something crucial that most people ignore. You need to define what enough means for you. For some, doubling their money is life-changing. For others, nothing less than $1 million will feel satisfying. But here's the danger. If you don't define enough, you'll always feel behind. You'll always chase. So before you even start building this portfolio, ask yourself, what's my target? Is it $50,000? 0 cents. $100,000? 0 cents. $1 million? Once you know that, you can align your expectations and avoid self-sabotage. So when you hear people talking about 5,000 HBAR, 5,000 XLM, and 2,500 XRP, it's not just about flexing numbers. It's about mapping out real profit scenarios. It's about showing you that with a reasonable allocation, you're not just chasing memes, you're positioning yourself for multipliers that could transform your life. From a conservative 2x to a life-changing 100x, the math shows the path. The only question is whether you have the conviction to walk it. At this point, we've broken down the numbers, walked through the profit scenarios, and analyzed the market narrative. The takeaway is simple. This isn't some random shopping list of coins. It's a strategy. It's about positioning yourself where institutional money is flowing, where utility is real, and where narratives are aligning with technicals. Crypto isn't about guessing anymore. It's about recognizing patterns in both human behavior and market cycles. XRP has already proven it can weather storms. XLM has shown it will ride closely alongside. And HBAR is quietly building the infrastructure that enterprises and governments actually want to use. Together, they create a portfolio foundation that blends growth potential with staying power. But here's the thing, time is the key variable. These plays aren't about flipping overnight, they're about buying patience, conviction, and resilience in a market that rewards those who can see beyond short-term noise. By 2025 and beyond, when momentum peaks and headlines scream about new all-time highs, you won't want to be the person saying, "I wish I had accumulated earlier." So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch from the sidelines, get involved. Start small if you need to, but start somewhere. If you can secure your 5,000 HBAR, 5,000 XLM, and 2,500 XRP now, hold through the noise and let the next cycle do its work. You'll thank yourself later, and don't do it alone. Engage with the communities, follow projects like Orbit on Hedera, stay updated with partnerships and ecosystem launches. The more plugged in you are, the more conviction you'll have when the market inevitably tests your patience. This is about building wealth with foresight, not luck. It's about being intentional with your crypto strategy. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced investor, the opportunity is here. The roadmap is clear and the timing couldn't be better. 5,000 HBAR, 5,000 XLM, and 2,500 XRP. That's not just a portfolio allocation. That's your ticket to participating in the next great shift in digital finance. So what are you going to do? Wait until prices have already 10x and everyone's talking about how they knew it all along? Or are you going to position yourself now when conviction pays the highest dividends? The choice is yours. If you're ready, take action. Accumulate smartly, hodl with patience, plug into the community, and most importantly, remember, crypto doesn't reward those who wait for certainty. It rewards those who can see the story before it becomes obvious. The story of Hedera, Stellar, and Ripple is still being written. Make sure you're not just reading it later, you're living it now.